So, Evan, what did you do last week?
24-hour endurance event.
What and why?
Well, firstly, one of my good friends, his name's Ben Lowe, he's started a charity called the Interchange Project. Now, what this was is to just get youth crime down to a minimal and get them into trades and businesses, or just like any type of work, basically, to get them from reoffending again. So he ended up doing a partnership with eSwerve, and they made the 24-hour endurance event together. So I actually went out there and had a look as well after the challenge, and seeing what they're doing and seeing where the money was going, because it was 40 grand they raised.
Wow.
So really good cause. And yeah, the 24-hour challenge.
Run us through it.
It doesn't sound for the faint of heart, eh?
What's involved? So give us a brief overview and then we'll digest it.
It wasn't my first 24-hour challenge. So for me, I kind of had a feeling of what I was getting into. But I've done some brutal challenges before, ones where you can't even put your hands on your knees to rest. This one was split into 5 separate 4-hour events. You had a 4-hour run, 4-hour mountain bike ride, 4 hours at Never Quit, 4 hours doing a pack march, and then another 4 hours doing a row on the water.
And they're just consistently one after the other.
Yeah,
Like
so
the second you finish, you're on the bike.
I'd say you had about an hour in between them. And then there was also food. The Keep That Pump was there. You had Replenish was there. There was physios there. And yeah, it's really good. Great setup.
Actual 24 hours.
24
of
hours.
Non-stop.
Non-stop.
Can you have a nap? Can you stop
some
it all?
people did. Some people dwindled off, yeah. But, mate, absolutely amazing feeling getting through that challenge. But, yeah, painful.
How do you prepare for something like that?
I don't think anything's going to prepare you
No. No, you can't.
for the challenge, yeah. But I guess it's just, for me personally, it's what do I want to be in life, and I want to keep my sword fucking sharp. And for me, it takes putting myself in those 24-hour endurance events, or sometimes longer, where I am going to be put under the pump in the mental forge, beyond where my body's like giving up. It's when my mind wants to give up, and I feel like when you're there, that's when you really grow. And everything else in life just flows after. Yeah. That's what I feel like, putting myself through the depths of the challenges, to war, to battle with the mind. But
So take us from the start. So what was the first event?
the first event was the running.
Okay, and you've done a lot of running, so that one was fine. Well, not fine, but that one was kind of in your wheelhouse, right?
Yeah, well, the first half of it, I just did a normal run, but the second half, I actually had a weighted vest and a weighted bag on, so it was an extra 35 kilos. So that was interesting. But
Was that part of it, or did you just do it?
Nah, I just did it.
Just to show everyone else off, eh?
Yeah, just to be more of a challenge for myself.
Yeah.
Because I knew it was hard already, but I was like, yeah, it's time. Like, I want to turn it up a notch.
Yeah. And were you like running a track in a circle, or were you going up and down a street?
Just a circle. There was a Red Bull DJ was there at the start. It was pretty good, but after a bit, the headphones went in.
Yeah.
The AC/DC went on, and I just was one step in front of the other, charging around.
For 4 hours.
4 hours.
How many Ks did you run?
No idea.
Oh, didn't even
No
check.
idea. Didn't
just
even
ran.
check. Didn't record it. I just
So where's the
run.
mindset from the start of that to midway to the end?
Of that first 4 hours?
just
I
the
was
first.
enjoying it.
Really?
Yeah, it was brutal, but I kept thinking in my mind, I fucking love this shit.
Yeah.
Excuse the French.
So,
But, repeating in my head.
So like your body was like hurting, aching, like saying, "Fuck, look, we got to stop." You're just like, "I love this."
I love this, yeah. And like, especially with the vest on, you could just feel like the joints starting to give in.
Yeah.
And that's when I'm like, all right, we're on here.
That's when you start enjoying it
Yeah,
more.
oh yeah.
And then from the running, you get a 1 hour gap.
So to the downhill mountain biking, this is the one I sat out on purely because I didn't want to get injured. But I still went there, volunteered, helped set up.
Yeah.
But I feel like because I didn't do the riding, it was more detrimental, and it made the next one harder because I was locked up.
Because
in
you have
between.
5 hours to relax and cool down.
So yeah, so I sat there, and by the end of it, I couldn't even walk. Everything, it felt like I'd been smacked with a crowbar on my knees. Like it was barely could take a step. So it was like trying to even get into my car was a challenge enough. And I was like, all
And then
right.
you had another 3 to go after that.
So yeah, still had another 3 events. So yeah, it was pretty sad I didn't get to do the mountain biking because it looked fun, but I feel like if I did do it, and I stacked it, couldn't finish the event off, couldn't work, and I got to be a little bit responsible, got the company to run, and other things in the works. So
Because you because you don't do much at all downhill mountain biking, right?
Yeah, well, it is. You know, it just would have been more fun than the challenge part, but also risky because I've done a lot of downhill mountain biking, and I know that you just want to zoom down. And
One wrong thing.
A lot of people stacked it. There's a lot of repairs going on, people's skin, but nothing too bad.
So like you go down this hill and you obviously can't find a hill that goes downwards for 4 hours. So you get to the bottom and you have to like get off your bike and walk back to the top. Like,
All right, so I was at Boomerang Farm and they drive you up.
Yeah.
So you get driven up, you have to wait in the line at the bottom, driven up, ride down. So yeah, you're not riding for the whole 4 hours.
Yeah.
A lot of people switching bikes and stuff. So it was more just a bit of a fun part of the challenge.
Yeah.
For me, not so fun afterwards because, like I said, completely seized up. But that just made it way more challenging for the 4 hours.
You like should have put that vest on,
Could you feel like the tightness coming and you're like, oh no, I've got to start moving, or it just on you?
So I went for a walk with the videographer that was there up the hill because you can kind of get views of the track on the way down. And that took about 20 minutes to go about 100 meters. So it was bad.
Were you thinking I'm stuffed for the rest of it?
Yeah, I was thinking just, fuck, how am I going to get back into it? Like, how am I going to start getting warm again? But I mean, I've been in this situation before, and I know that once you start moving, you just got to cop the pain as much as it hurts and just keep pushing through. And eventually, like what happened at Never Quit, it basically went away. Not fully, but...
So sorry, when did the first event start? What time?
8:30
AM.
That's Saturday.
Yep. So then 4 hours later, and then the bike starting at like midday or something like that.
Yeah, and then we got to Never Quit about 5:30, and then that's when we started.
So what was involved with Never Quit? Is that the hit stuff, hey?
For me, it was the funnest part because the energy was so high. Everyone's, screaming out. Me and my friend were saying strength and honor the whole time. Just screaming it out, And then, I pushed myself a fair bit there. I wanted to make sure I kept moving. So there was an indoor circuit. You'd do like some body weight stuff, and then you'd go from the assault bike to the rower to the ski ergs to the other exercise bike they have there.
How
and
long
then
did it take you to warm back up?
About an hour and a half, I reckon. So it was just an hour and a half of pure pain. It felt like I was getting hit in the legs with like baseball bats whilst moving.
What's going through your brain at that point?
Fuck.
That's it. Just those 4 letters. Just 4 letters.
Yeah, like this is really fucking painful.
Just going around like a banner. KFUCK.
Yeah, literally. But then also just remembering why I was there and why I was doing it. And there was actually one of the kids that's passed the program that was there doing it with us.
Yeah, right.
And even just seeing him there and seeing what the results can be when these kids are taken care of properly, I was like, oh, this is worth every single second of this pain to keep pushing through if that's going to do that for other people. Because I did the youth crime and I understand how that is and how it feels to be, especially alone. You feel like you got nowhere to go and nothing to do. So as we talked about in the last podcast.
So it is a topic that is quite close to your heart.
Yeah, it is, yeah. So it was really, really good, close to home. And I mean, yeah, there was a lot of tears at the end. Ben did a speech.
It's over.
Yeah. Ben did a speech at the end and he started tearing up. That made the director of E-Swive started tearing up. I was tearing up.
Everyone started crying.
Yeah, everyone starts tearing up, because it's just a beautiful thing to witness. And yeah, it's just a great experience.
So I won't jump to this yet. I want to finish the rest of it because we've got another 2 events to cover.
We do have another 2 events.
So by that time, it's about 5:30. It goes for 4 hours. You're wrapping up there at 9 o'clock?
Yeah, about that, 9:30?
Yeah.
Something like that.
And then you're like, all right, down to the beach for a walk.
Yeah, so that was the most brutal one for
sure.
The pack march. So it's a weighted bag, vest, or both on the sand. I chose the soft sand. So
of course you did.
It'd be a bit harder, eh?
And it's just like, man, walking up and down that beach and all you have is you're so in your head, eh?
Yeah.
Like, why the fuck am I even doing this?
Why am I here?
But nah, that's when it's like...
To what beach did you go down to?
Currumbin.
And did you go from like rock to rock, back and forwards across, or was it
surf club to the Elephant Rock? Is it called?
Yeah, the alley rock.
Yeah. So up and down, non-stop.
And you did it in the soft part.
Yes. Great stuff. No, I loved it. It was really good. I love just the pain and enduring it as well. Is like you remember why you're there, why you're doing it, but you also question yourself, like, why the fuck did I do this to myself?
Yeah. Why am I doing this to myself?
Have you always been like this?
Nah, no, I don't know what happened there. Just when I went through all that crime and stuff that I was telling you about in the last podcast, it's just something switched in my mind when I was like, I don't want to be a fucking loser. I don't want to be nothing. I want to be something.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'd watch like all these movies, like what 300 is a good example, or Captain America even. You just like, you know, there's men out there, like obviously it's a movie, but at the same time, 300 is based on history, just giving all they've got. And like, what was that quote I was trying to think of? Excuses last forever. Actions don't, something like that. But yeah,
Tell
something like
yourself
that, you know?
self-remember. That's a good strategy.
We're just like getting shit done. Like, do you want to be remembered, or do you even want to be at a point where you feel like you've done enough, or do you just want to sit around doing fuck all?
There is no worse feeling than when you finish something and you think, could I have done more?
Yeah.
Like there's just, it's a terrible feeling.
Failure.
Yeah.
For anyone that hasn't listened to that episode, or they've listened to it for a bit of a refresher, what was it your upbringing sort of like just to give them an idea? Because the teen crime sort of hits home a little bit for you.
Yeah, so I'll fast forward more up to that bit. You know, I did live at home in Sydney at the time, and just started going out and got like stuck in that life of just wanting to be out all the time, and I guess you'd say running away. And yeah, just getting into selling and then not being able to get out. And especially, I guess, what Ben touched on and what Esau have touched on is that there's nowhere to go when you're into that situation, especially if you get done or something, and you think you got friends when you don't. And it's just having that somewhere to go, and then having the right direction after that. That's what hit home for me.
Yeah, because some of these kids would be misguided. Are they like local kids around here as well?
Yeah, so I think they go anywhere from Gold Coast to Brisbane or even further away. And just get them in. They're up at the Heritage Park.
Yeah, right.
Where's that Pimpama? So we actually went down there afterwards to see, and they've got, you know, a big, nice complex set up. And they've got big dreams, big plans to help out these kids. And
How good's that?
man, it looks so good what they're doing.
So these kids that are coming into the program, are the founders going out and sourcing these kids and trying to talk them into the program, or
I'm
like,
not too
how does
sure.
that- Yeah.
I'm not too sure. I didn't get around to asking him about that yet. But
Yeah. So you're not sure if the kids like kind of in a similar position to you go, I've had enough of this, I need a change, and then they just know that there's a centre down the road or something.
yeah, I think it would be something like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure they would be in like setting up the right, I guess, outreach system to be able to find kids that want to be better
Yeah.
and don't want to keep offending, you know?
And at what age was it a turning point for you again?
What age did I start
Where you were
getting
like,
into
let's
it?
turn my life around.
Oh, that would have been about 21,
21.
22.
You're 27 now.
Yeah.
So
It's been a
about-
long 5 years.
So
Long,
you-
challenging 5 years. So we're back down at Currumbin Beach. Again, you would have had no idea how many laps you've done. You just kept
Yeah,
going.
no idea. I'd
Yeah.
had my earphones in, and then eventually I took them out because there's a point where music just doesn't even sound good anymore,
No.
and you just kind of really over
AirPods
it.
would go flat after
Yeah.
4 hours.
Well, no, they were fully charged, so they were ready to go. But it was just more the fact that you can't have anything in your head but your head.
I get that, yeah.
So music was just no.
It was just sound.
And do you have that voice telling you to stop?
There's always that voice. I feel when you get to those stages in those events, like the big events, you know, I feel like there's always that little voice in your head that's like, why are we doing this? Why are we here? And you got to remind yourself, like, do you want to be better? Are you here because you want to be a better person, or are you here because you want to help these kids more? Something like that, you know. That's what was in my head at the time.
Is that how you silence it? Because I've become very aware to that voice, that unconscious voice in my head at the moment that says things that you're not really consciously thinking, that you sort of, the real you disagrees with.
Like what? Like doubting?
Even just an opinion of someone. Like, I don't know if it's normal, but I think I mentioned on one podcast once, and it was like an example was someone's got their hair dyed purple, and there's a voice in my head going, why is their fucking hair purple? That looks stupid.
Instant like judgment, eh?
Oh, yeah.
Instant judgment.
Yeah.
And it's something I've really noticed a lot lately. And I'm like, that's not my actual thought though, because then my conscious mind notices it, and then I'm like, who's this guy? whose voice is this? But then I've noticed it's the same voice as when I'm running on the treadmill or I'm at the gym and it's like, let's go. There's no point doing this. You look like shit doing this podcast, so it's never going to happen. That voice that's just unconscious. And I've been trying to be conscious of it. But that's what I was.
I feel like that's something that you can, I guess, meditation and journaling, two things. Just being able to control like your mind and the way you think. And I feel like there's a lot of things that fall into the category of what you were talking about, especially like instant judgment. Like, man, I used to be so opinionated, and I feel like that's made a lot of problems in the past with friends or especially girlfriends and stuff like that. And now I like to think I'm in like the grey area where I'm more just like look at everyone's side and think about every side first. 'Cause everyone's a human, right? And like I will say, I used to, LGBT when it first came out used to really fucking piss me off, like really annoy me because you know I like being a masculine man, having duty and being the best you can be. But when I took a step back and I was like, hold on, you know, there's still people with feelings. Let's have a bit of a look at that. So tried to understand both sides. You know, at the end of the day, you don't have to fully understand and agree with everyone's story. But I guess getting to that point where you can take what you want from things. And like I said, yeah, the grey area, if that makes sense.
So you'd say flipping the perspective is a good way to challenge that thought and to kind of quieten it? Because I've been trying to figure it out over the past few days and it keeps coming in and it's frustrating me because I'm not actually thinking these things.
It's just more trying to understand it, whether it is like instantly judging someone.
Like why?
Instead of being like why, in like a way where it's more like you thinking.
Fighting it as well.
Yeah, it's a bit like why would they do that? And then just have a bit of a look at them, people watch. Why would they do this? And then, you know, you can even look into it a bit more.
Yeah.
Like just things like that. And I feel like with what you were saying as well, when you were saying you're running on the track, what? And then you feel like you're running shit? Is that what you're talking about?
No, it was just like my brain was like, stop, there's no point.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this? What's the point? Just stop. And then I try and silence it.
I guess you relate that to like a negative head talk?
Yeah.
So dominant.
Well,
It's so loud.
So loud.
Because you said it on one podcast that you have this deep negative voice, and I was kind of like, oh, I don't really understand that. But over the past probably week, I've really actually noticed that it's almost like another voice in my head that's not mine. It's like the subconscious. And I'm like,
The thing is, it was probably always there, and you just never could differentiate
Yeah.
between the voices. Where I labelled mine as dark, so I could pick the differences between the.
I've
good
called it
and the
Larry.
bad.
So shut the fuck up, Larry, every time, like a parrot or something. But yeah, going back, so when you're doing these and these thoughts are coming up of just like, let's just stop. My body hurts. Why am I even here? What are you doing?
Just remembering why. Yeah, remembering why. And that's because I want to be the best I can be. And I know for a fact that I remember the first challenge I ever did, a 6-hour challenge at Cronulla on the sand dunes. Disgustingly
You were
brutal.
saying about that one, yeah.
Yeah,
You told us
but
about that
I
one.
remember how you feel afterwards. It's like, you know, you're so much dopamine and endorphins is released in your head. You feel like you're on top of the fucking world. Like,
Yeah.
so good.
Is that after?
And and it stays with you.
Yeah.
And then I feel like it dwindles away the less you're doing like big workouts like that. So that's why I try and do one at least every year, like to try to get an event in. But
Yeah, gotcha.
just to stay sharp.
Did you get to that? What's that? Oh, I had to do a 1-1-1. Sorry, guys. Did you get to that point of when you're marching? Because I've listened to the footy boys. They do it. They do like an army camp, and they've been going for days or whatever, and they haven't eaten and this and that, and they start getting a little bit delusional. Were you starting to get that because your body's aching, you're tired?
Not so much on this one,
Yeah.
but I have been to that point before. Start like seeing water because you're so thirsty and like stuff like that.
You are on
Really?
the beach. So.
Yeah, I've been at the point before when it's like you start seeing like puddles of water on the sand because you're so thirsty. Like not right in front of you, but yeah, it can get pretty, especially when the heat.
Was that one of them challenges?
It was one of the ones I've done before. Yeah,
Really?
yeah, it's brutal.
Wow.
What's that delusion like? I've always wondered. Do you think you're seeing things? Do you know that you're not seeing these things?
I don't know. I feel like you're just more aware of what's happening right at your feet. Like you're not really thinking about much in those situations except your next step.
Can't
Or-
imagine you'd have much like peripheral long sight vision as well. It's very like just horse vision, what's right in front of you.
Yeah, and most of the time you're looking down
Yeah, because you.
because you're just trying to slog on. But yeah, when you look up, I don't know, there's not really much thought that goes on in those situations except for how am I going to get through this next step?
Yeah.
Like it fucking hurts, man. That's all you're thinking about is how much your body is hurting, eh? And I remember the last 4 hours on the rowing, like on the water with an actual kayak.
Yeah,
just
so you finished the walking at Currumbin. Currumbin Beach. Then did you row up and down Currumbin Creek then?
Yeah, so it's up and down for the last part of the challenge.
So what time did you finish the walking then? It would have been like...
Man, this is when it all just blurs into one. Like I wasn't looking at my time or the phone or anything.
Because it
so
would have been about 1 o'clock or something.
It was
started at 9, 10, 11, 12.
I think we started the row at 4:30. Because I remember the sun was just rising.
Yeah. That would have been beautiful out there rowing while the sun
It actually was
coming up.
really nice.
Yeah, that actually would have been really nice.
So the first lap we did about 4 laps, which is, I'd say, a circuit. 600 meters was the 1 lap. So did that with a partner. And then after that, we came back and he was done for.
So did you
I've
start
gone
at
back out.
like, you know, there's that big bridge that goes over the alley. Did you start up at the rock at the mouth of it or did you start down at the boat
Yeah,
ramp?
right at the mouth of it. And then we went past the first bridge and the second bridge was the turnaround point.
So you got to like the RSL, then you turn around and
Yeah,
come back.
exactly, the RSL.
Yeah.
Tart in the RSL.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then, so I've gone back out by myself in a 2-man just to have that extra weight and just slogged up and down.
You would have put
For
the
the extra
35-kilo weight pack in the second seat. And just
Man, I
like-
wish the weight vest was down there, but I was up in the car park and I didn't
Yeah.
want to go up and get it.
Oh, that's understandable.
Probably should have, but yeah, I did end up having a coffee before that started, so bit of fuel.
And was the rowing, do you reckon the rowing was the hardest one or?
No, I reckon the pack march.
Yeah.
That was just the most brutal for everyone, I feel.
Did a lot of people make it to the end or was like, did a lot of people drop out or did people
Nah,
kind of-
not everyone made it to the finish line.
Yeah.
I remember 3 of us were on the water at the end,
3?
but a lot of people still did the rowing. So
Yeah.
Do you think it's a physical challenge or a mental challenge?
at that point, mental.
Just mental.
Physical challenge is the next day when you're trying to move around.
Physical challenge the next week.
Oh,
the
man.
week after.
Like brutal. And I didn't halt my training the next week, which is probably a bit dumb because I'm still feeling sore.
Really?
But I think you
I'm
kind of
done.
have to because as you said, after the 4-hour run, you seize up. You got to keep moving. That light training.
No one else trained last week from the challenge except for one person, and he ended up in hospital.
Oh,
For what?
Something to do with overuse of muscles.
Is that a thing?
Yeah. So I probably should have had more time off. I mean, I didn't
had
just go
magnesium.
straight back into my massive 2-hour workouts, but I was there trying to do, lightweight, to keep the body moving. But yeah, I did a workout just a passing Sunday morning, and that just absolutely sent my body into this aching. Like I spent Sunday lying down I couldn't even look up. Still a bit sore now. So I feel like it's been a bit detrimental.
has it been the entire body like achingly sore, or is it like the shoulders are predominantly?
Joint
or the
wise,
neck?
yeah.
Yeah.
But muscle wise, just my shoulders.
Yeah.
Like even right now, this is hurting my knee. Like my joint wise.
Where does this come from? This, like you just said, you got
Savage.
the two man kayak just to make it a little bit more challenging for yourself. Where does that come from?
The savage mentality is what I call it.
How is that? Are you born with that, or did you develop that, or what?
No, I
'Cause-
definitely wasn't born with it. When I was young, there wasn't really much of me. Yeah, I was just a little twig, shit at sports, shit at school. Because like we talked about in the last one, taught I had ADHD at a young age, and I felt like that ruined my concentration because I thought I couldn't concentrate. And yeah, I think just being sick of being nothing. So and then I was like, all right. And then just throughout there, I guess you'd say, the past 5 years, definitely training nonstop. It's just been trying to make it better and better every day. 1% better every day and doing whatever it takes.
Now, like, I'm not saying this is like a thing for you, but because I know that it's not you, I know that if there was no one else involved in this challenge, you still would have done it.
100%.
But do you think that there's a lot of people who in that challenge do it for ego, to be like, they need the people around them and go, I can outperform the others. I can push myself harder than the others. Because like, I know you, if no one was involved and there was no advertisement behind it, you would still have done it.
100%, yeah.
But there's others out there who would have done it solely for the spotlight of showing.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe. I just wasn't focused on anyone else there, eh?
Yeah.
Unless I saw someone struggling and, you'd go, but let's fucking go. Come on. Strength and honor.
You're there, they're like running along dying. You come flying past on the sand to your left, and they're like, oh, Evan.
How would you say to tap into that? To
Tap
tap
into
into
the
that
savage.
savage.
tapping into the savage is something that has become very normal for me. But yeah, I'm not sure what kind of stemmed from that. I guess I just have this mentality now where I'm always trying to be savage. So like that's why people are like, what the fuck? You don't need to train that long in the gym. You don't need to do that many exercises. It's like, I know, but I will. Because for me, it's, I guess, tapping into the savage is, I guess I always relate my life back to what, like ancient history, just fucking animals, men that were just like King Leonidas, always a perfect example, which is why he's tattooed on my leg. You know, 65 years old, marching up for 2 weeks straight and fighting that Persian army. That's something that I probably think about every day.
Really?
Is it in your head?
Yeah, well, like, you know, I'll be at work and I'll be carrying some beams around or been doing like a difficult workout. Or like even those days when you get up and, you know, you go to the gym and you feel really shit and you're like, fuck, I just want to go home.
Yeah.
That's when I remember it's like those motherfuckers went and fought for like their life to be the best they can be for their families, for their children every day. I was like, all right.
Most people will eat the remaining food on the table because they go, oh, there's kids in Africa that can't afford to have food. You're at the gym and go, my ancestors marched 2 hours into battle for this.
Yeah. Well, like Julius Caesar fought for 6 years straight in Gaul. Just that was just one campaign that he did. Like 6 years straight with just one goal on his mind, never gave up. And he's got it. No one else could conquer that place, but he did it. Yeah. And then he became emperor from that. So just things like that, you know, reminding myself that, well, there's always people going through tougher things. And I remember just not so long ago, there's one thing that I always say to myself, and it's whenever I get like a little bit down or like just a little bit, you know, not 100%, is I feel like anxiety, depression, all that, it's a luxury. But let me put it into perspective because I know that would sound quite controversial to you guys right now.
No,
I'm open. I'm open.
I'll weigh in after, but yeah.
So in terms of like, if you have the time to even sit down and think about the things that you're going through, then that's a luxury already. Like even have the luxury to have a choice whether to go to get these medications for it, or maybe I should go on a run. Like that, just the choice in general. Like there's people in these countries overseas that don't even get to stop ever. So they don't even have the luxury to choose. They don't have the luxury to sit down and think about what they're doing. They just have to go. Like, you know, I guess not worth talking about a country in particular, but just that wars in general, like, yeah, brutality.
Well, that's what we've said a few times now, is that like we've had quite a few guests on the show now that have done travel to third world countries and little villages in like India and Nepal and stuff. And they go, these people have literally next to nothing to their name, but they're the happiest people that you ever come across. And it's like, so why do we here have everything at our fingertips, but we're always so anxious and we've got these insane mental health battles?
Literally. And then one thing that surprises me is that a lot of people I talk to that are in these states is because someone's done something that annoys them. It's like, why the hell would you let someone else's actions or words alter how you're going to feel about your life?
Yeah, my only thing with the OCD, like if I was running, man, or doing any of these things, it would still be in my head the whole time. Like if I was running and doing that boot camp, I can assure you, I still would have been thinking about, like, would have had that shit on loop. But that's the only thing. Like I'd say, with the everyday anxieties and that, I'd agree. Like what you just said, like somebody thinking about what they said or something. Like that's definitely would be a luxury. But yeah, I'd agree to that. I'd agree. But it's, I don't know. I'm just thinking about with my OCD because I used to try and run from it. Like I'd jump on the treadmill and then I'd go, I'm going to run around this oval. It would still just be sitting in,
always there,
just ticking away in the background. Like even in the middle of the run, I'd be like, fuck, my leg's hurt. Oh yeah, that's right. Did you fucking cheat on your missus or something?
But I think what Evan is meaning is like, even in that circumstance, it's still a luxury that you have these things to worry about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like most people, like you're worrying about losing a partner. Like it's a luxury that you have.
But
a
you
partner.
even have them in the first place. Like most people, they live their lives without even getting one. Like in these countries that we're talking about, and like some people just, you know, they're born into war and then they die at war. Or like Africa, you know, you're born a kid and then your parents get killed and then you just get given a gun, and you could end up dying any day there.
Yeah, we were talking about that the other day actually.
You know, just things like that.
About the, like, it's a deep one. It's a deep one. What was the topic of?
I can't remember. I'm trying
Remember?
to remember what we were even talking about.
It was like, we were talking about this the other day, and it was about religion and that. So it could be a bit taboo for the podcast.
Oh yeah, nah.
Perhaps we can talk about it off camera.
Yeah, I don't know if we bring that up on the pod. No, I'm not going to touch on religion on the podcast.
Nah, you don't touch on that. But yeah, no, you are right though. As far as I do think you're right. Like a lot of people, yes, it's very hard when you're in a moment and you're in a bad spiral to think like, oh, but I'm going to be grateful for this.
Yeah,
It's a
it is very hard.
complete mindset shift what you need, but
But for me in those situations, it's like, do I want to be upset about this, or am I going to find the positive from this situation? Because in my experiences, and fuck, I've been through some, there's always a positive that's come out of it.
That's what we've been saying.
yeah. Do you perceive your life as because there's two kind of thinkers out there. There's the ones where it's like everything happens for a reason and I forge my own path. Where do you sit on that?
I forged my own path. I was talking about star signs with someone the other day.
Yeah.
And I said, it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I'm like, why though? I was like, because I have things in common with all of them. I was
Yeah.
like, why would I let some Aztec person back in the day that's thought of it, or wherever it's come from, I'm not too sure. Maybe remove the Aztec reference. But someone that's just looked at the stars and be like, oh, you know what? If you're born in this month, you're this.
You're an asshole.
It's like, what is that? That star could be even gone by this point. It's like, there's no, like, you're born with the energies of the stars.
Well, I mean,
No.
scientifically, the star is already dead by the time we see it. So it is gone.
Exactly. And I feel like, why would you let anything change who you want to be, or anything even set in stone, like, make you who you are? Nah, no fucking way. I'm who I want to be because I make the choices I want to make, and I'm a fucking sick cunt. Excuse the language. But maybe blur that bit out, but because I know that I want to be great, and I know it's not going to be easy. It's going to be really hard, but I want to do whatever it takes to get there. And nothing in the stars and destiny and it is what it is going to get me there but me. Getting up at 2 and making the choices I'm making to make sure that I'm going to do nothing but go further.
Because the thing that we've been saying for a while is, and you may have heard us say it, how much luckier could I get, right? And when we refer into that, we're not actually talking about luck. It's like, to me, luck is the opportunity that you've then taken advantage of.
Yeah, I
so
agree with
it's
that.
like, how many times do you look at people and they go, oh, they're so lucky. It's like, oh, they're so lucky. It's like, no, they got the it's like they got an advantage or they got an opportunity and they took full advantage of that opportunity, which then they used their manpower to get to where it is now.
They took an action that got them to where they were. Lucky,
Yeah.
I feel like it's a word that shouldn't be used, basically. Because what is luck? It's just someone's perspective of like what you're going through.
Yeah.
People could say, I'm lucky.
Yeah.
People could say, you guys are lucky. Well, I'm lucky to be sitting here with you guys.
We're lucky to have you.
That's a fact.
Just fucking.
That's a fact there.
But you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's like exactly what you said. So many people will look at someone like, say, with the Lamborghini, like, oh, he's lucky. Is he? What has he gone through? You don't even know him.
They look at you and go, oh, he's so lucky. He's so jacked. He's so ripped. And it's like, but you're in the gym at 2 a.m.
I'm at the 2 a.m. smashing it out.
Yeah.
And every day.
What is the reason? Because I remember you had a reason for the sunrise.
Yeah, so the sunrise is one of them. Now I watch it from my balcony. I don't even go to Burley Hill anymore. So
Too far to
I
drive.
do miss those old days. Though.
The heydays.
Yeah, but I live on Miami Beach now, so it's great. I can just watch it rise from the balcony. But I still want to go because I want to make sure, I'm the sharpest tool in my shed. You know what I mean? So
like that.
I just want to be the sharpest tool in my shed, and in just to make sure that's going to keep happening, I've got to be up doing these things. But I guess there is moments when I've like taken a step back. Like, what can I do if I'm not at the gym? If I couldn't even go to the gym, that's what I've been trying to get at the moment. So in the past week, when I haven't been able to train as much as I'd liked or as intense as I'd like, it's like, how do I stay just as sharp if I don't have the access to that? And I found it's definitely journaling.
Yeah.
So taking control of your mind is what I've found. It's been a very long process, but now I'm at the point where like I know exactly how I can make myself feel a certain way. So it's good. And I know that's definitely came from journaling.
And what are you doing when you're journaling? Because everyone's a little bit different with theirs.
So I give the same advice to you guys right now that I would with any client that I have at the moment in coaching, and that would be to, whenever you're in a state of negative thinking, you write it down straight away.
The negative thought?
Yep,
Yeah.
100%. But just besides that, every morning and every night, what you're grateful for, what you're anxious about, what you're worried about, and just write that every morning, every night. Because usually the things you're worried about in the morning, at night will be gone.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Or the things that you're worried about at night could be gone the next night or the next morning.
I want to ask a question there because I've seen someone else talk about gratitude journaling. He says that, and don't be mundane. Oh, I'm thankful for my house. Oh, I'm thankful for my. It's like, because you get to day 3 and you're like, I'm thankful for my house. Like, you're still
You do
there.
that. Yeah, I've done
It's
that.
like you cannot do like, he said you've got to be, and correct me if you've got a different way of doing it, but he said you've got to do things like, I'm grateful that I woke up and I had eggs in the fridge. And then like, I'm grateful that on my drive into work this morning, I got all the green lights there. So not like the big things like, oh, my house.
Yeah, not the big things at all. I feel like it's more things that are to do with like your energy and what you're feeling. So it's like, I mean, when I wake up, I'm grateful to just wake up. But I'm not going to write that down.
Yes.
But I'm grateful for the people around me, the friends that I've got. I'm grateful just for any chance like that I get that I can do something by choice. So yeah, writing it down, I guess I'm more write down the people that I'm grateful for, the experiences that I'm grateful for, and the things that I've also given myself, like the situations I've put myself in from making the right choices.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Did you feel real gratitude when you started? Like, was it actually like like, did you have gratitude as a feeling? Because like when I learned how to write gratitude, I'd just write things, but I was like, I had this weird mindset where I was like, yeah, but I deserve everything I've got because I'm working for it. How do you like flip that perspective? I'm a little bit different now, especially with this podcast and everything that happens. But yeah, I used to like go to write gratitude and I'd be like, this is fake.
Yeah.
How do you?
Yeah, you can't do that. It's more just writing down how you generally feel. If you're not feeling grateful that day, don't write it down.
Yeah.
But for me, when it's like one of those things that it wasn't like straight off the bat or anything. It was like throughout the course of doing it consistently. And I was like, holy shit, now I can just control how I feel and think. Like, it was just like that. Like having a routine and doing it, writing it down and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like one of those things where out of nowhere, I was like, all right, now I'm super happy all the time. Like, why is that?
Because you're always looking for the positive things to be grateful for.
So you just like the things that you write down, the things you want to be as well. This is another big one. So 2 lists, the things that you are doing now that you don't want to be doing, the things that you want to be. Mate, what a game changer, eh?
Sort of manifesting as well.
Yeah.
Are you acting as if you've already got it?
No, I don't do that.
No, because then in a way, if you write down like that you want to become a more patient person and you don't like how irritable and short-tempered you are.
Definitely a good
If
one.
you
That was me.
Yeah, because if you write down, I don't like that I have a short temper, I want to be patient. Every time something comes along that tests your temper, you'll remember for the last 10 days that you've written down, I don't want my and it'll battle you in your head.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
even that's a perfect example of something you could jot down in the morning.
Yeah.
How am I going to be more patient today? Just so it's in your head. Like it's quite strange with writing stuff down. For some reason, you just remember it.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is to do with that, but typing it's different. But when you're physically writing with a pen,
Yeah, I find doing it on your notes on your phone, it's not really. You got to
it's
actually
so
write it.
powerful, actually writing it.
I think in the day and age where everything is done on your phone,
It's nice to get off of it.
actually going a pen and paper has just and like 20 years ago it might have been different. Maybe journaling, manifesting was different. I don't know.
Yeah, it would have been a bit more refreshing, I feel, because now everyone's just stuck on their phones.
Yeah.
Which is another thing that I just recently did. I deleted or deactivated my Instagram for a month. And that's
Was that a
just
month?
Close to.
Wow.
It's good to do. I wanted to do
You
at
feel
least
so clear after doing it. Eh?
at least 3 months usually. Like once a year I'll do 3 months.
Really?
And that just really zeroes it down to you, who's important to you. Like the valuables in life, like the values that are just like, like I said before, energy. So, and it just really, really appreciate the moment that you're in.
Did you find it was dictating your mood from when you were waking up?
Nah, see, I'd stay off my phone for at least the first 4 hours. In terms of
At least till
social,
the sun's up.
in terms of social media, like you need music at the gym.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of social media,
And no one's messaged you from 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock a.m. anyway.
Well, I usually wake up with a fair few messages because I go to sleep at 7.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
I sent you a voice message the other day at 7:30. I was like, he's not going to see this till 2 a.m.
And you got to reply at 3, I think.
And then I just didn't see it for the rest of the day because it was like the first notification of the day. What do you find from day 1 to day 90 when you go on 3 months without the phone? Like what changes do you think?
You just get so much more in the moment and appreciative. It's one of those things that the gratefulness just comes from you just realizing, yeah, it's hard to really put into words, eh?
No,
I could really try.
I could see it.
It's just one of the, just getting off social media. I guess it's not fake, but it is in its own way.
And you're also comparing quite frequently too.
Yeah.
Like when I'm on the Shared Minds one, I look at these podcasts that have been around for 10 years and they got 1 million followers. I'm like,
It's just distraction. It's so easy to get distracted on social media.
oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's the main thing.
Painfully easy.
When you're not getting distracted, it's when you really appreciate how beautiful life can be, you know?
Well, I found that it was like dictating my mood, and today's like the first day of it. But I used to just wake up and would get a heap of notifications, and then I'd just go through them, and then all of a sudden I'm on Reels. And then before I know it, the first hour or two of being awake, I've just scrolled through TikTok, Instagram.
Just rotting your brain out.
Yeah, and like, you know, the algorithm, like some of it will be like breakup stuff or like,
And you wake up going, oh, I'm feeling sad today.
yeah, like all this motivational stuff. And I was noticing that it was just dictating my mood. And then if something didn't get as many likes as I was hoping or as many views, I was finding it would just completely throw off my entire day because I would just get frustrated. And I was like, you know what? So this morning I woke up, I didn't touch it. I still haven't scrolled on Instagram. I feel kind of bad because I haven't replied to everyone that's messaged us, but I've...
That's right. If you're really your friends, they won't mind.
Yeah.
They know you're grinding. They know you're getting shit done.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think it's important with stuff like Instagram and stuff like that is to allocate time for it like you would anything else.
Yep.
Be like an hour of Instagram. That's when we get on. You do the uploads, do your message response, do your check, do this. Your alarm goes off. See ya. Like,
Yeah, I was a bit scared. I reckon the other day I would have had 15 hours screen time on Sunday. Yeah.
What are you even doing on it?
Bro.
I mean, there's some stuff on there that can be quite educational, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
But
See, I was like listening like the other day to like Joe Rogan and Elon and that. And I'm like, you know what? Like that's not too bad because I was learning about politics and stuff. I'm just saying that actually. It wasn't that. It
it's
wasn't
an excuse right there, man.
I say it out loud. I'm like, it was just a distraction.
It's so easy though to try and justify it to yourself.
Yeah.
Eh?
Saying it out loud just then I was like,
guilty.
nah.
It's like with you do some exercise and then you go to say Yochi. It's like, oh yeah, but I did some exercise this morning. It's all right. No, it's not. If you don't want to do that, like you know.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, no, that's probably going to be my new goal. And like, I don't mind if I go on a bit of a doom scroll in the Arvo, justifying it again. But like
Well, it depends. Do you have things to do? Is it distracting you from things that you want to do? If so, then definitely don't do it.
It's a bit of a weird time in my life, bro. Like because when we met, I just went through that breakup.
I do recall that, yeah.
And then for like 2 months I was single, then got in another relationship for about 3 months, and then got out of that about a month ago. And I was finding I was no longer, I had a lot more free time, a lot more time to think. So my phone
a lot more time to
became
dwell.
a lot more time to dwell on certain situations. And then I found myself getting really sad. So then my phone became like my distraction. And then that was getting like it was becoming my comfort.
Yeah.
I couldn't even walk to the fridge without scrolling.
The one thing you got to remember is when you're in those situations where you're uncomfortable, that's when the character building happens, which I'm sure you know now.
Yeah. I've
Especially-
learned a lot to feel those emotions and sit with them and stop running from them.
And that's why journaling is so important because you're understanding why you're feeling those emotions in the first place as well. And so most people, they're like, you're thinking about it's like, oh, and it's non-stop. Your mind would be so busy. And that's why most people never solve their issues and they run from them instead. But when you're opening this journal and you're writing it down, you're understanding why you're feeling this way.
There's no running from it. It's right.
There's no running from it, yeah. And I feel like that's where, especially as men, we need that. Because like, it's funny you brought up relationships. I've actually kind of been missing my last one a little bit recently. And I've been wondering why is that? And it's because I'm at the point now I'm so comfortable being single and I was so hopeful for that one to last forever that it's been like, I don't even know what I want in that field anymore. It's kind of strange. So it's been, I'm going to be a bit, I guess, I'll be a bit open in this podcast about it. I have been missing it a fair bit and I've realized like what I've done wrong in that. And you know what? I did take a bit more responsibility in how things went downhill. And I feel like if I understood my emotions then And I feel like relating it to understanding emotions is because I couldn't handle how she was acting. But that was more just me. You know, and people say, no, it's because she was insecure, man. But it's like, yeah, but she was. But at the end of the day, I could have, if I'd had the emotional capacity to deal with that and figure out a way to
Handle it.
you know, handle it and move past it where I was more of a team instead of just being like, oh, I don't want to hear it. Like that would have been a lot better in the relationship. So I feel like that also mixes into, you know, journaling and understanding your mind and stuff. And I feel like if I did that sooner, then maybe that dream relationship I had at the time could have been saved.
I like your vulnerability, and I'll expose mine too. I was similar to you. I was feeling that as well. I probably didn't have enough time from the last one, and I probably ran into and rushed into things. And
I'll touch on that in a second. Keep going.
well, I was actually going to ask you that and how you dealt with it, because what I found was I was running from those emotions and thought that if I could,
Occupy.
yeah, I'm trying to think of that's a good word, occupy the mind with certain things, it would probably, I could deal with that. Like I thought that I could deal with those. I thought the emotions was a time frame, and I thought if I can just keep going through this time with occupying my mind with something else, by the time it gets to 6 months, I'll be fine. But what I realized is if you're not dealing with the emotions
For 6 months.
for 6 months, they're just going to creep up on you one day. And that's exactly what happened.
And be a bit detrimental.
Oh, yeah.
Well, see, I was thinking that the other day, but it came to a realization is now I've been single so long, why the fuck would I want to get back into a relationship?
Yeah.
Why would I risk getting into another situation that's bad? If I couldn't be a man enough to fix the last one, then like, why would I put myself in another position where I think I would be capable now, but at the same time, like, why would I do it when I'm so happy doing what I'm doing currently?
But I think that's the best time for you to find one is when you're happy in your own life,
But
and
from
you've
what-
got nothing to change.
But you
Yeah,
just,
I do
from
like
what you
that.
said, it sounds like you've learnt from the last one.
Definitely learnt from the last one. I learnt what I should have done, but yeah, it's one of those things, eh?
Did you suppress the emotions from that last one?
I just wanted to run away from it. So
Yeah.
I did. That was what taught me initially to be like, all right, now I'm going to sit with my emotions instead of go out and distract myself and all that. But a reason I said I got something for what you said before is someone was explaining something to me, and he's a dear friend of mine. He lives out on a farm where I go to here and there. And he said, don't stay single for too long. I was like, why is that? And he's like, you want to be jumping back in quite soon after a relationship. I was like, why is that? He's like, because eventually you're not going to want to let anyone in. And that made me think, I'm like, fuck, I'm there now.
You're going
I
to
have
put
heard
that
that.
wall up. You're going to put the wall up. and
Yeah,
it's going
and
to
I
be
feel-
hard to open the gate.
It is. And like, yeah, I feel like you definitely have to be in a relationship to love, like you have to love yourself to be in a relationship. But also I feel like you can learn that whilst you're in one. You know what I mean?
This is deep because I just remembered, I think I asked you when we did the first podcast to try and, because I think everyone says when you go through a long-term breakup to like try and find yourself. And I think we were talking about that on the previous
Interesting.
one.
Yeah, we were. And
Well, I'm
then
pretty
now,
sure we
now there's
were.
a conflicting thing that
Yeah,
just came
because
up
of it.
when I was like, you know what? That's true though.
Yeah.
Because now I'm at that point where it's like, you know, I met some lovely women, but I just don't want to risk it, eh?
Is that you don't want to risk your mental health and you don't want to
That's
have to
still
go through all of that all over again?
Still something I got to figure out. I guess I was just in that girl, man. I wanted that forever, and I feel like that's still something I want forever. Is what that was and what we built together, and what I know. Yeah, it got bad, and it got to the point where I always blamed her not loving herself, but it was actually me not being able to deal with it and figure out an answer. Because at the end of the day, I'm the man, so it is. I guess it's my duty. It is my duty to make sure that my partner gets through what she's going through and I'm there with her for the ride, but I'm figuring it out, you know? And I feel like as a man, to be the best man you can be, you got to be able to do that for your kids as well and like your partner and stuff. Because imagine if you're, say, 20 years from the track from now, you've got 3 kids, your missus is going through, obviously going to be going through like the emotions. And if you're not man enough to be able to deal with, get home from a shit day at work. So I'll give you an example first. You go to work, get home from a shit day. You're already mentally drained. But then your missus is going crazy. The kids are going crazy. And you need to be a man enough to be able to be like, all right, now I got to help them.
Yeah, that used to scare me, that thought. Yeah.
So I feel like, yeah, it's just a different perspective from where I was in the last podcast on that. But I feel like that's something that I want to now strive to be for my next relationship.
Yeah, it's actually, we haven't actually had a return guest, so it's actually pretty interesting to do this. But yeah, it's funny how from what you've said, it sounds like even from how far, like how long was that? When did that end? That was like
It was
4 months from when we started.
It
Was
was.
It was like 4 or 5 months.
It was December 15th.
So just over a year.
Yeah, on the dot.
Yeah, and it's funny because even 12 months later, you're still in the back of your mind,
Yeah,
ticking over what you could have changed, what you wouldn't have,
It's only now. Like I went through that stage where I was like, thank God that's finally gone, and I felt on top of the world, and I was doing great, and I'm still doing great. But it's just now realizing, as I'm trying to get back into the dating game, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I just kind of miss it, eh? I'm gonna be a bit vulnerable about it. Not in a way where it's like I'm gonna let it bring me down, I'm sad and stuff, but just I'm emotionally aware that I do miss that, and I wish I could have changed it. And I reckon if she was up here, we would have had an amazing life. And I thought that here and there recently.
You've got to stop yourself from thinking about that future too. Hey,
Yeah, but it's not I'm not in a way where it's like, oh, like I wish it was this. It was more like, I wish it was that. But I understand it's not. So I'm happy with that, and I'm content with both sides. But yeah, I'm just emotionally aware now that it's a shame.
it's a weird one. It's a weird one because what you're saying, I'm feeling. I'm picking up what you're putting down, and it's I can't remember where I was going with that. It's a really weird feeling, and I've been trying to fight it as well. And I like that you're being vulnerable and open on this because it's I don't think I've really talked about it on the podcast, but yeah, I definitely feel where you're coming from, and I find myself like always questioning, going back and forth, and then with the dating life ahead, it's kind of, I feel like it sabotages you a little bit.
Definitely does.
I haven't been looking. I've just been keeping to myself, and
because you're comfortable now, eh?
Yeah. Comfortable. Yeah, I'd say comfortable. I'm okay with it now. I think I had like a self-realization about a month ago because I'm at my mum's because like my ex got everything. And like I remember waking up one morning and I was like, what the fuck has my life been? Like, what's this last 5-6 months been? When you have that real, you kind of because you've been running from these emotions and you've been fighting them. The day that it finally faces you, you kind of go,
oh, it all hits you at once, eh?
Yeah, and you don't know what you're feeling. And it's a weird thing to be, and then you kind of look into the future, and I couldn't really figure out what I even wanted. And then I'm starting to feel like you kind of, and even speaking to other women, I'm just kind of like, oh, no.
Yeah, it's strange. But the reason I was bringing it all up is because it all ties into where we started at the start of the podcast. It all ties into the 24-hour challenge. It all ties into the journaling. And I feel like the reason I'm feeling this now is because I've learned how to become so emotionally aware of how I feel that I can feel the things that I should have felt, a year ago, 2 years ago.
So you're going, this is what I should have been going through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for that as well. It's one thing that I'm really, really grateful for now is understanding the better person that I'm becoming.
And, well, you've had like you've had like a major change from the last time you were here because you had just moved and then you'd started your business, but you're doing a few other things now.
Yeah, so just recently getting into acting.
Yeah, that's
And
sick, eh?
Also recorded some country music as well.
Did ya?
Yeah.
Hey!
So, mate, there's big things in the work, and it's just one of those things where I've just been following everything I want to do. I'm just jumping in. I'm doing it. Nothing's holding me back
If
anymore.
you've had the thought of I want to do it, I'm just fucking doing it.
Yeah, nothing's going to hold me back from the life that I want to live. And, before it was like doubts, like, you sit home, I don't think this is going to work or anything. Fuck that. It's time.
How
It's
do you
time
know unless you try?
Yeah. And every day I wake up, let's go, baby. It's my time to shine, which is why people always say, it's like, why do you put every day like on your story and say, let's go? It's because it's fucking Tuesday, baby. Let's go. No one understands that, which is fine. But every day, it's the first thing I say to myself, fucking Tuesday, baby. Let's go. Like what, so excited and I'm so ready. And it's just, yeah, man, it's been, a lot's happened since the last podcast, but a lot of good things. I've just been
yeah.
going up and up and up. The company's going well. The acting things, it's very recently, but I've already been on a movie with a pretty up there actor, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Not in the front screen or anything yet, but man,
Getting
everything's
there,
just
getting
going.
there,
Getting there.
climbing.
Well, I just did a thing on the weekend, and they said they want to get me back for some stuff. So yeah, it's just, man, everything's going so well.
I'm so excited for you, man. I think, I don't know if moving up here, but you see a lot of these people and you realize that there's so many opportunities and so many exciting things to do and so many exciting
is, yeah.
avenues. And I'm so excited for you to be doing that because that's unreal.
It's
Jumping
good,
on a movie.
I know, it's such a good feeling. Everything's going in the right direction. So, I mean, and it all stems into what I was saying about the journaling and the 24-hour challenges. That's what keeps me sharp enough to be able to do these things, and just to jump. Confidence doesn't even exist. It's just who I am now. That's great.
It's just me.
Yeah, because an example is you go into a room and straight away you're just like, are you going to go up to everyone and say hi? Or are you going to sit down and be quiet? Things like that. Are you going to stand up in front of the whole room and be able to talk in front of them like you would talk to like me and you right now? Or are you going to sit there and doubt yourself? Oh, fuck that. Someone I said in the last one, life's too short to be anything negative. So it's just like,
I love it.
get it done. It's just like what you guys did, where you guys are now. You took the leap, you quit your jobs, and now you're killing it. So congratulations, boys.
Appreciate that. Is there anything else you wanted to bring up before I ask you the final question?
Nah.
No?
I think we touched everything, didn't we?
I think so.
Okay,
So I have to do
so
these every 6 months, eh?
every 6 months check in. So the question I was going to ask you has changed in the process of this whole conversation. What would you say to yourself 6 months ago that all the lessons that you've learned from when we last sat with you, let's say that there's someone who has just listened to your first episode, right? And they're going through everything that you went through 6 months ago. What would your advice be to that person today?
Be consistent. Because that's all I've been doing, and being consistent and being true to yourself. You're never going to be anywhere down. You're always going to keep going up. Be consistent with your journaling, be consistent with your training, be consistent with your habits, and you're just always going to keep going up.
Bruce Lee said, don't fear the man who knows 1,000 punches, fear the man who mastered the one punch 1,000 times.
Yeah.
So,
That's a good one. And there's also is it the Abraham Lincoln talking about the axe and the sharpening? There's a guy that goes
yes.
every day to chop down the tree. He's gone. But there's a guy that's just sharpening the axe instead. And then I think the story goes something like that. And then I think it's 100 days or something. And then the guy just goes and chops it down in the one day.
Yeah, he goes in
Sharpened
one
his axe.
clean swing, takes the whole tree out.
And that's because he's been sharpening his axe. And I guess that does relate to what we touched on in the podcast, even the one 6 months ago and now, is just making sure you're doing what you got to do to duty to yourself to be the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
And just making sure you're keeping on top of it.
Duty to yourself. I like that.
Yeah.
Good shit,
Nailed
man.
it. I like it.
As always, Evan's brought us another amazing episode.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks for coming on again. We'll see you in 6 months.
Yeah.
Part 3.
Sounds good. Man, my mind feels like scrambled eggs after that. There's so much I'm thinking about that I want to say.
Your mind or your body?
Yeah, we'll have to have a nice
Man,
D&M.
still so sore. I don't know about how to get up. Can you guys help me out?
Nah, you got to stay here now.
We'll have a chat about our love life after this.
Yeah.
All right, mate. Well, thank you again.
Thanks,
It's an
Appreciate it.
absolute pleasure. Thank you guys.
Love yous.